Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hello there, wrestling fans. Welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and we're closing out UK Wrestling Month. I want to thank all my guests I've had this entire month of August from the UK countries. Everybody, guys, thank you so much for coming and helping me support UK wrestling and getting a light. And I know you fans, you guys, a lot of people are not familiar with UK wrestlers, but now you know a little bit more about them because they're good wrestlers, and it's good to be #globally familiar with the indie scene. And to help me close out UK Wrestling Month, I'm having a young lady on that I had this, as you can see the title, 3. You may only be able to find like 2 of the episodes, but just leave it to me. This young lady is doing big things to help me close out your UK Wrestling Month. Let's give a warm Dudes at Ringside return to the one and only Annabelle. Welcome back, Annabelle.
Hi, thank you.
Awesome. Annabelle, girl, what have you been up to since the last time we were in the studios?
I've been obviously wrestling quite a bit, and because it's obviously the summer right now, we've done a lot of camp shows. So we get to go all around holiday parks and have matches. So that's
Awesome.
really
So, like, how do you feel like you've grown into your character in a different way than you like what the last time you're out of the doll, but then your character, as I've seen on Instagram and videos, is like back with the dollish character. Like, has it changed in any way, or is it still the same Annabelle?
So when I first obviously started the gimmick, I came out with a doll, and it was a young girl because I started when I was 8, so a very young girl. And it was more of a gimmick where she's been possessed by the doll. So basically, anything the doll tells her to do, she'll do. If anyone picks up the doll, throws it, it's almost like voodoo. But now I've kind of grown into becoming the doll instead of being controlled by the doll. So
Mm,
I make her my own decisions, but dressed like a doll.
yeah. So, like, what kind of like the different training have you been into with under that learning tree of like Soraya? Like, is what kind of teacher is she? Because I've heard like she's a really good teacher from different people. Like, I've seen her. And like, what does it feel like to be taught under that name, like Soraya?
It is so cool. The thing is, with her training schools, you learn so much in such a short span of time. Like, we could learn a whole match in a weekend, and it's one of like the most complicated matches you could do. And there's flying, and there's British tech and aggression, all like combined into one. It is insane. I don't think I've ever sweat so much in my life, but it's the funnest thing ever. And they're so good for matches, and I just think it very much shows
Awesome.
wrestling.
That's so cool. It's so cool to know that to me, you've grown so much in this short time that we haven't been like in contact. I've seen stuff you're doing on your stories and stuff like that. So for my American fans that are now learning about you now on the Joe Panther Variety Show YouTube channel, like, if you can give them a top 5 of if they so that you can gain some more fans, some Annabelle fans, what would you give like a top 5 to give them, pump them up about Annabelle?
Oh gosh. Well, I'd say my character is very high at the top. If you like horror, anything involved around horror, that is something you should look forward to. The promo videos, I always try to outdo myself with that. I've been to graveyards, alleyways. I've got a massive rocking horse that is still shoved in the shed currently. We can't seem to get rid of it. It's massive. And dolls, they're behind me. I thought I'd bring them back out again. It's blurry, so you can't really see, but yeah, so character promos, my wrestling style. I very much pride myself in that. I've learned a hell of a lot, like I say, from Soraya, the aggression, British tech, and occasionally fly, even though I'm quite scared of heights. So that's the smartest choice. But yeah, gear. I've started making my own gear. That's number 4. Sometimes they don't work too well when I test them out on camp shows at the moment. Because sometimes I'm not the best at sewing. I've started. So sometimes they don't go too well. And a 5th one, maybe just, yeah, quite crazy, outgoing. I try a lot of things. Half the time I'm like, could I do it? Probably not. And I just kind of give it a go and see what happens. Kind of wing it. But yeah, that's 5.
So, like, within like your wrestling career so far, who has been like your favorite person to work with out of like everybody you worked with so far?
There's a lot of people I really like working with. There's a match I really liked. It was against Lucy Sky, who was on the indie circuits. I've seen her around quite a lot. She come down to WAW for a show, and that's probably like one of the best matches I think I've had. But my favorite opponent, especially like in the company, this is a difficult one because obviously Soraya, but then there's Tracy, Leia Elise. There's a lot of people, so them 3, I wrestle them the most, and I think we've learned to incorporate our styles into one, which looks really cool.
Yeah, one person I remember that's on the tip of my tongue that I always remember seeing you wrestle when you first started like working with us was Princess. I
Yeah.
totally I still remember. I haven't really seen her do much in the wrestling world lately. Is she coming back in, or is she like taking a break?
So she was out for a little while because she had a lot going on with some type of injuries, like. But she is back now, and she is doing great. But we tag more than we wrestle. There's a lot of times where we keep wanting to wrestle, but we've tagged a lot more because I feel like a match. She wears a lot of pink. I'm wearing pink now, so I'll take it as that.
I remember those clips you used to send me back in the day with Annabelle versus like
Yeah,
Princess. We need to
yeah.
get how many number of rivalries has Princess and Annabelle had? I know that a lot.
I think we've only had one, and I think it was that time. Yeah, she threw my doll over the top rope.
Oh, I remember that one, and you just mauled her. You speared.
I was like, that was the start of Annabelle changing into like the new character. So obviously I was saying I've been controlled by the doll. So she threw the doll over the top rope in hopes that I would go over the top rope because we were in a rumble. And then I just attacked her instead, showing the doll has no control over me anymore, and I have just become the doll.
Wow. To me, I thought there was like 3 or 4 rivalries. That's why I was like, there's always could be a part 2.
Maybe.
Do you think you would make Annabelle go heel again, or do you think she's just a face, or is she a tweener?
So that's not up to me, but Annabelle is a heel. I feel like she could definitely be a heel again, but right now I think she's doing very well as a face and very over right now as a face, and it fits my moveset quite well. But as a heel, I'm totally down for that. If that happens, it happens. Maybe the doll might come back, maybe it won't. We'll find out.
So since you and Princess are like a tag team now, would you ever put in your outfit, put a little crown on your little like doll on the top of your head, on top, like make a crown and put in sideways crown, like cracked crown on top of your head when you come out to the ring?
Haven't tried that yet, but if we tag recently or soon, I should totally do that.
Tell her, said Joe Panther III said I have to rock a crown. I know you're the
Oh,
princess, but would I be the princess? Oh my gosh, Annabelle, the Princess of Darkness.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, the black and white little like thing train behind you, a little
Yeah.
doll. Oh my god, you got to make some some dolls holding the end of the tray. Somehow they're just walking behind you like that.
Oh, yeah.
How would you
Right.
do that? Oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. Like have them like holding the back of the thing, but
Oh
their
my.
feet move when you hit the ground. So their feet just move as they hit the ground. So their feet are not flat, so they just wiggle as they're hitting the ground. So it looks like their feet are moving.
That
So
would
they're
be.
someone would have to help you sew that. That'd be like cool. Like their hands will be on each end of the thing, like the little crown, the king thing, the little jacket they wear, and
Yeah.
have their feet like hitting the ground, but they just as you move, they look like they're following you down, like holding the thing.
That would
Yeah.
be.
So when you like the week of like a show,
Mhm.
for you, like, what is it like? What is their schedule like? Is it like difficult for because you're still in school? Like, what is the scheduling like that for like training and school, your matches and stuff like that?
So I've just finished college now, so I'm officially out of education
Oh
finally.
wow!
So
Congratulations!
now I've got a lot. I've finally finished. About
Wow!
time. I feel like I've been in education for ages, but yeah, no. So I'm finally out. I got a gym membership recently. Now that I'm out of college, so I'm starting to go to the gym, which will be part of my weeks. And usually, yeah, so usually I'd go to college for like 5 days a week, and then the weekend is usually training. So we now train like one weekend out of a month. But we got a show tomorrow. We got a fun day, and then a show later on tomorrow. So I haven't really been that busy this week. I went to a wedding, but yeah. So it's mainly just the gym and what happens.
Yeah, that's that makes me feel like I'm like, wow, I've been with you your whole high school life, and then like what, like
Yeah,
junior high, and then I think I met you when you were in junior high, right? Or was it high school? I can't remember. Can't remember when we met.
it was high school
Podcast
when I
high
was.
school. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. That's insane that we met when you were very young, and now boom, look at this. You're out of high school. You're doing your own thing now. So, like, what is your normal like like workout regimen like? Do you do the treadmill more on the week of a show, or do you do like weights more? Like, what since now you're going to the gym now? Like, what is like your normal gym thing like?
so I just started the gym 2 weeks ago, and I've already got many great stories to tell. I have not had a single day where I have not done something embarrassment in the gym yet,
Wow.
but it will be soon. I'm gonna go to the gym and not have an embarrassing moment happen. But I've been doing quite well. I've got like a little workout plan. It's usually like weight stuff. But if I've got like the day before a show, I'm not going to go to the gym, because if I do like leg stuff, I will not be able to walk into it. I will not be walking into that performance center.
Oh
I'll be
no.
stuck outside. But no, yeah, I usually treadmill, take it quite like easy with a few cardio stuff, if not. But yeah, usually on other days, I'll probably not go the day before training or the day before a show and have like a rest day. But if not, I'll do like weight stuff and cardio and whatever's on the plan, figure it out. But yeah.
Do you have any like fun stories from the ring?
There has been quite a lot of stories. There's the camp shows are usually the funniest for that. There's been times where I've been in the ring and there's people like trying to buy my dress off me when I'm wearing it.
What?
Lost a hair bobble during a match and some kid. It's just strange moments like that. There's not too many funny moments half the time. It's mainly on camp shows where there's funny moments where you're just talking in the ring and you think it's funny. But yeah, like literally, I've been in a suplex before and I just get whispered like, "You're gonna go flying, kid," and I was like, "Oh no." But yeah, you get comments like that, which is so funny.
Oh my gosh, kid's trying to buy the dress off your back. Like, here's money.
They were like, "Where'd you get your dress from? Can I have it?" And I'm like, "Kind of wearing it at the moment."
You come out in your street
Yeah,
clothes. You're like, you want it? You got the money? Give me. I made it.
yeah,
Yeah, here you go. Here,
yeah. I
free.
don't think I want it after a wrestling match.
Yeah. Wait, I don't know. It's all sweaty because you're outside. Do they do those shows at the camps
Yeah.
outside, or is it under a tent?
Pardon?
Oh, sorry. I said, do they do those camp shows like outside, like on the grass, or do they do them like under a big tent?
Oh, we've done one where it's like a fate show, and we were out. So we had a little tent thing over us, but the ring is outside, and it was raining so bad, and the whole ring got soaked. And the first two people who obviously had to wrestle, it literally they were every time they'd bump, there was water coming right up. By the time I had my match, I was all right because it was more dry, but it was so funny. And there's other times there's been shows outside. There was a show we did. There was a bouncy castle outside as well, which we were tempted to go wrestle on the bouncy castle instead of the ring. But yeah, so we sometimes we do it in like the bingo halls and stuff like And other times we do it outside.
Yeah, I've always thought about those bouncy castles. I'm like, man, that would make a really cool cage match. Like a bouncy castle. Just make sure nobody has anything sharp on their gear. But what do you think, Annabelle? Wouldn't you make a
Oh no.
challenge a wrestler? I want to challenge you into a bouncy castle match.
Oh
Wouldn't
my
that
god,
be
every day
fun?
of the week. Bouncy
Oh my
castles are so
gosh,
like just bouncy and so yeah.
thought right?
There's literally been
Thoughts. Got
times
it.
where we've just hung separate.
Yeah, that'd be
Tomorrow
hilarious.
there's gonna be a bouncy castle, so I have a feeling most wrestlers are gonna be each other on
You really
that.
can't get hurt, right? You can't get hurt in a bouncy castle.
No,
Well,
not really
maybe,
a bouncy
like
castle. It's too bouncy.
maybe unless you land wrong, unless you do like the Shawn Michaels and land straight like that, like like
Yeah. We'll just pretend like you can't. Like bouncy castles, so fun.
just
Like you
don't
can't get out on
powerbomb
that.
somebody too hard, like the whole thing just
Yeah.
collapses.
No, because I'm
Mm.
bombed.
Don't
I won't be
get
picking
power
anyone up.
bombed. Just don't get power bombed on it.
But it's bouncy. It's
Yeah, it's for the fun of it, not to get killed. Oh darn
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
So do you have any you have any merch yet? Like, cause like my fans are, I'm always trying to like get my wrestlers that I work with, get some fans if they want to pick up any merch. Like, you have any merch that my fans could pick up?
In our stores, so in the performance center, we have like as you walk in, there's a shop area, and basically for all like the WWE wrestlers, they've got their own station where they can heat, sublimate, and stuff onto merch and create own merch. So there should be stuff in there. Also at holiday parks, we have a little merch table as well, and it's got all merchandise and stuff. So it's mainly at like the venues we wrestle at.
Oh, okay.
But
Because I
yeah,
was like,
I'm on
I've
the
had a
bottle
lot of
now.
wrestlers, like a lot of wrestling fans go, "Oh man, I want to pick up this guy's shirt. Oh, I can never get that girl's shirt 'cause she's from the UK." I'm like, I don't know. Ask them. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. So when you go to these shows, Annabelle, like, do you have to pack like a lunch and then maybe you and your family or
Yeah.
friends can eat you eat after the show, or do you like just eat like a little snack before you go to the show?
Half the time, sometimes shows are early or not, but sometimes I put like a few snacks in my bag. Sometimes at shows they have their own little places, like the last one we done, which was at Oasis Scrappy. They have their own little cafe area, or sometimes they have like garage shops and stuff like that. But usually I just bring a few snacks with me, and then afterwards I get something to eat at like McDonald's or something. Because usually we get home like really late. Sometimes it's like 11:30, 12. So I'm like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard the horror stories from wrestlers that like I'm like, "Joe," and they're like, "Joe, you always say that. I would watch your interviews with people. You always say, 'Hey, do you ever go to any play after Joe? You know darn well the only things opening is gas stations and McDonald's.'"
No chance of eating healthy at that time.
Nothing. So what would here we go, let's go into McDonald's question. What would
Yeah.
you say would be like if they could make an Annabelle meal on the McDonald's menu, what would be the Annabelle?
A Happy Meal, because then you could have like a little dole in it. And I'm a very fussy eater, so I'd probably say nuggets and chips.
Oh,
A
nuggets
Happy Meal.
and chips.
Get a dole in it as well, so you get to keep the dole.
Every one of my American friends just went like this. Chips, so she wanted a bag of Doritos? No, idiot. That meant she wanted French fries. I have to explain. I'm like, for all my American friends that like know I interview British people, they always ask me what they meant when what did like that mean? What'd you mean by that?
Yeah.
Like they always go, what did they mean when they said chips? And I'm like, hold on, interpreter. I'm like the sign language interpreter. I'm like, they meant French fries. Come on.
Yep.
Because I work in a senior home in a kitchen, and they have fish and chips, and immediately they go, "Joe, look, it's your some of your friends' favorite food." I'm like, okay, let's get a little less slick. Not every British person eats fish and chips. Like,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. So, before we go, Annabelle, let's talk about WAW and like a show. So, when when do they start like telling you like about the matches? Like do you get told like the week before a match who are you wrestling, or do you like get like the information like within like the month before the show's actually like put together and you're there?
So it kind of depends. Because, like I was saying, with camp shows, usually find out the day before, so they put up a post on it. We have like a little own staff page where all the wrestlers are added onto it, and we find out. Sometimes they put graphics up on Instagram or Facebook, and that's when we find out. Or it's the day of the show, you turn up and they tell you if you're on the show and if you are, who you're against.
Another thing, is Bellatrix still around? Is it
Yeah,
still a
yeah,
thing? Yeah,
yeah.
it's weird because I haven't seen any posts about them in a long time. That's another one that I'm like, I wanted to work with them. I like Bellatrix. I love the logo. I love the Viking. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, that thing's so
Yeah,
cute.
it's because for August we have 4 free shows, so there's a show every Saturday. So instead of having Bellatrix or WW, we had 3 shows so that Bellatrix and WW both go on the shows. But we are having one in September. I can't remember if it's the 6th, I think. It's the Friday. But yeah, so we've got a Bellatrix show coming up literally really soon again.
I got worried. I was like, Bellatrix is gone.
No,
R.I.P. Bellatrix.
no,
Like all those times I was watching you guys on Twitch, like I was like, no.
it's still here. It's still here.
Cool. Before we go, if there was any here we go. I always ask the same question, so I'm gonna change it a little bit. Where
Yeah.
do you see yourself 5 to 10 years in the wrestling business?
I hope WWE. That's where I really want to go, and I'm definitely working on it. Getting
Awesome.
sort myself out, and I'm gonna try go there.
Awesome. So my last question, because with it being the end of UK Wrestling Month,
Yes.
if you can get any past or present wrestler, like female wrestler that's in the indie scene, like older wrestler or newer wrestler that you can get one more match with, one match, one night, who would it be?
Oh God. I've actually got to think about this because there's a lot of people I've met which I thought were really cool. I would definitely like another match against Lucy Sky. That would be good. But if I had to go with someone like famous wise, which I'm gonna pick, Mickey James maybe. I like Mickey James. She's cool.
Awesome. Annabelle, I want to thank you so much for coming back on the podcast. And once again, congratulations on your graduation out of college. And I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck on your wrestling journey. You're one of the best and you're the coolest. Please tell Saraya that Dudes at Ringside says hi. And definitely would love to have her on a future episode of the podcast because I know she got tons of stories.
They're the best.
I love indie wrestling and I love supporting everybody. It doesn't matter if they're from as far as London, England, or as in your backyard, like in Pennsylvania where I live. Thank you so much, Annabelle. I'm Joe Panther the Third.
I'm Annabelle.
And we will catch you in the next one.